Okay. All right. Let's do something with vectors. First thing I want to do is declare one. Well, what do I need to include? And the book said to use a vector, you have to do this using namespace, saying, well, that's okay because we do it all the time anyway. And so I can come down here now and declare a vector. Let's say a vector of ints. So now I've got to use a special kind of syntax. And I'll put nums. Now, what if I just do that? What's in my vector, Caitlin?
Well, it doesn't have a specified number.
It doesn't. So what's in it right now?
Nothing.
You're right. That's an empty vector. Now notice, with an array, I couldn't do that.
Right.
So there's one way to declare a vector. Another, that way right there is probably the one you're going to see the most. Nums 2. I could say 10. Notice parentheses, not brackets there, like with an array. And what's that doing? It's setting aside 10 slots inside that vector. Okay, if now I did a pushback with a number, what slot's it going to be in? Slot 10. And so if I print the whole thing out, those first slots are going to have zeros in them. And then my number. And so watch out. If you say, I'm starting off with this size, when you do a pushback, it's adding them on to the end. So you've got 10 junk ones, and then your good stuff. So that's why this first one, bless you, is going to be the one you see the most. Another version is you can do this and say, well, I want all of them to be negative 99 or something. And that'll put a negative 99 in all of those slots. Sometimes that's handy, sometimes it's not. So I'm just going to say number 2 here, and notice if I want to initialize it, I can. I just don't put an equal sign there like I would with an array. So let's put some values that we will recognize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now if I printed those out, let's make sure that they're all in there. What slot numbers start with? 0. Oh. Now what do I put?
You do the size, but you got to make a variable.
Do I? See, with an array, I could declare a constant up here that governs the size. Not so with a vector. Why? Hannah? With an array, I could come up here and declare a global constant that would tell me what size that array is all through my program. Why can't I do that with a vector? That's right. Size can change. So the good news is I can ask that vector how big it is. So I can say nums2 dot size. And it'll tell me. Huh?
Doesn't that do the... Oh, never mind.
See, I'm asking it for its size. Like I can ask a string for its length, which might make you think that a string is a whole lot like a vector of chars. And it kind of is. Not entirely, but it's very similar. Okay, so I've got this and then x++. So if that went by too fast, watch the video. It'll be up this evening too. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening this evening. And I'll do what? Cout nums. 2 ways I can do this. I can say x. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, it crashed. Why did it not like that? Ah, okay. Nums1 doesn't have anything in it. So we'll throw that away. Thank you for catching that. Okay, and it prints out my numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A second way I can do that is to say nums2, and you won't see this very much, but I could say at x with parentheses. Now see, that's a function, right? Because I'm sending it a parameter of x. It should work the same. It does. So far, so good? Okay, what's another function now? We've looked at size. We've looked at how to declare them. Oh, here's something. Yeah, before we get to there, let me do this. If these were arrays, could I do this? Not with arrays, because the compiler treats the name of an array without brackets as the address of the first element. But these are just not like that at all. See, if now I printed out the stuff in nums1, and we'll say nums this time. I call it nums1, it's nums. Let's see what it does. See, now then nums has the same stuff in it as nums2. I can do that. What about, oh man, if nums equals nums2, then print equal. Could I do that with arrays? No, you're right. I would have to compare them one element at a time, pair them up. Let's see if this works. It does. So these have a lot of advantages over arrays. What else do we have? I could say if nums is empty, and that's a function also. I'm going to say if it's not empty. So if not nums empty, I can't put the not in there after the dot. So it should print out, see if it works. Nope, it's got stuff. All right, so what's another function? Really, at this point, it's just like, here's some things that you might not have picked up in the reading that I'm showing you right here. Very handy. Swap. Okay, let's make nums 10, 20, 30, 40. Ooh, what's it going to do if they don't have the same number of elements? Let's see. I want to take this line out. I want to come up here and say, see, it doesn't matter which one you pick if you're swapping them. So I could say nums swap, and then what's the parameter? Nums2, right? Now then, when it prints this out, the first for loop, let's put them all in one line so don't gum things up here. And same thing down here. All right, so first we're printing out the thing in nums2. You're right. I was so carried away just thinking about this.
And then between them you put CO and then after.
Yeah, up here. Give them a little breathing room.
Why are you doing that?
Because I want them all on one line. Now, what's going to print out first? The way I've got it here, I'm swapping them here, so what should print out here? In nums 2, after I've swapped them, should print out 10, 20, 30, 40, right? And this one should print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if it does. Now notice, y'all, this is kind of cool. Nums 2 resized to smaller, and nums resized to larger automatically for us. That's pretty nifty.
What did that see out in the thing?
Well, if you look at what's output here, if I didn't have that indel, then this number 1 would start right after the 40.
Right, you just put it at the end.
Because I wanted them all on the same line. That's why I didn't put indels up here. And I didn't catch that. Somebody else did. It's Luke or Mark back there. Or Rohan. Yeah, okay. Rohan's trying to redeem himself for that switch thing. Okay, what's another function? Is there a reverse? Let's try it. Okay, so after I swap them, which one do you want to reverse? We'll reverse nums 1. It's not liking that so much. What's it saying? Has no member reverse. How about resize? That starts with an S. Now then,
I read about this.
Hannah, at some point in everyone's life, they go through a little stage of delusion. And so, I mean, this could be yours right now. You know, it's better now, get it over with. Right now, let's take out this swap thing. We'll take out the swap. And now then, right now, nums 2, we'll say. Oh, it helps if the num lock's on. Okay, right now, nums 2 has 6 elements in it. What if I said resize to 10? Yeah, now it's got 4 extra spaces. Let's see what happens. Let's take some of this stuff out.
You have to add a value to initialize.
Hmm?
You have to put a comma and another value to initialize those two.
Let's see what happens if I don't. The compiler seems like it's going to let me do this. I'm not doubting you, Gracie. Look what it did. When I resized it and I didn't specify something, it just stuck zeros in there for me. Okay, let's resize it, and what do we want to put in there?
79.
How much? 23. Okay. So added the 4 23s in there. That's why I wanted y'all to see how resize works. Now what if I said, what if I cut it down? What if I said I want it to be 4 instead of 6? Now what happens? Yeah, see, it starts. Yeah, this acts like pop back. I heard somebody say it knocks out these first. It starts at this end, whittling it down. What could I do this? Doesn't print anything because the size is 0. Man, okay. So what else do we have? Pushback, okay. So I've got this down to 0 now. And notice how else could I have done this? Here's a good test question. Instead of this, what could I put, Claudia?
Instead of what?
The line that we're on right here. Is there another way to do the same thing? Brenna?
Oh, doesn't he push back?
Jasmine? Clear, yeah. I could have just said nums 2 clear. And that wipes them all out. So now if I do nums 2, I can say push back, and I can stick a literal in there. Now then, it's only got one thing in there. If I put another pushback, and I put -6. Notice it's resizing itself. And it's always at the end.
Wait, what if you resize to a negative?
Let's try and see. Compiler's not looking over my shoulder here. And we get, boom, crash. Yep. Done crashed it. There's pushback. Let's say, yeah, let's do a pop back. I'm going to say nums 1 pop back. Notice I don't specify anything there because it's going to just take it off the end. So when nums prints out, I keep trying to make a 1 there. Okay, so when nums prints out, it should just print out 10, 20, 30. Boom. Why? Notice when I resized it to 5, what did it do? It took away that 6. And then I did a pushback of 1,000, so it added the 1,000. I did a pushback of -6. It put the -6 on the end. Look at nums, just 10, 20, 30, because it popped back the 40. Y'all, how are we? Is there anything not making sense after reading it? What are we forgetting here?